excited to have you here. It's happening, Tea Time Live. We are live. Before I get into this, I need to make sure you guys can hear me and see me. So let me know down in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me before I go any further. Let's see. Maybe there's a lag because I'm not seeing anything. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Okay, all right. There's a little bit of a lag. Okay. I'm so excited, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for my first YouTube Live. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And when I say long, I'm talking years. This is something I had planned on doing back in 2017, but life happened and I didn't get around to it. I put it off, but now here we are and I'm ready to have some fun and I see all of you guys here. Come on into the tea room. I'm so excited. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. I want to know where my people are. You guys are coming in. Thank you so much. So where are you from? Let me know. Let's see. I saw earlier we had someone from Maryland. Let's see, where are you? Texas. We've got Texas in the house. Yolanda. Thank you, Yolanda, for joining. So happy to have you here. Let's see, who else do we have? Missouri. Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Let's see, Central Florida. Yes, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for jumping in and joining the tea party. I'm so happy. California in the house. Hey, sis. My neighbor. I'm happy to have New York City. Girl, you're on the east side. I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you guys here. You guys, we are going to have so much fun. I've got some exciting things planned for you. If you are new here to my channel, if today is the first day you're ever coming to Anita by Design, you picked a great day because we are having Tea Time Live with Anita. This is a Q&A. I'm going to be answering some questions that were submitted by my private email community members. We're going to have some giveaways, and I'm going to be sharing my Q1 makes, all of the garments that I made for Q1. So we're going to get into it. Oh my gosh, you guys are still coming in. Thank you so much. So happy to have you here. I have my teapot. I've got my teapot here, and I've already poured my tea. I'm having chamomile tea today. I had ordered a new tea, but it didn't come in time, so I'm having some chamomile by Twinings. Do you guys have your tea? Do you have your teacups and your teapots? Are you drinking with me today? Or if you don't drink tea, maybe you're drinking coffee. Let's see, what are you guys drinking today? Atlanta, hey Sheila. Thank you for joining me, Sheila. Glad to have you here. Missouri, Patricia, yes. Chicago, Sharon. Thank you for joining me, Sharon. Happy to have you here. Canada, Joyce, so happy to see you. Thank you. Tennessee, that's where I was born. Thank you for joining. I was born in Memphis, so glad to have you here. North Carolina, Catherine Lewis, yes, girl, glad to have you here. Belleville, creating with Lady Soul Creations. Hey, sis. Hey, my soul sister. Thank you for joining me today. We've got Nashville, Tennessee, Pat. Thank you for coming. Louisiana, Sandra, yes. Woo, we're all over the place. Tracy Ann from Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, girl, I was in your town not too long ago. All right, you guys, so let's see. What are you guys drinking? What are you drinking? Nobody sharing with, oh, hibiscus tea. Ooh, yes, I love it. All right. Eating a late lunch. Angela in Virginia, you're eating a late lunch. Okay, that's okay. You can eat your lunch while we have tea. Okay, so let's get into it. For those of you who are new here, let me introduce myself. I am Anita Morris, and I am a sewing instructor here on YouTube. I have a heart for new beginners. I love teaching beginners the basics of garment sewing, and here on my YouTube channel, I create videos, tutorials to help beginners sew garments, and that's my heart. I have a new online sewing course that some of you may not know about. I think a lot of you do, but just in case you don't, I have an online sewing course called Learn to Sew, Mastering the Basics. And in this course, I teach new beginners how to master the basics using 4 steps. Sew it, cut it, stitch it, or sew it, cut it, yes, stitch it, and finish it. And in those 4 steps, I show them the necessary tools that they need in order to become very proficient at sewing their own garments. Uh-oh, what just happened here? Let me go back out. Can you guys still see me? My screen went blank. Okay, there it is. Okay. So yes, so I teach the beginners how to sew their own garments, and I go into great detail. If you have watched the beginner sewing videos in the beginning of my YouTube channel, you will see there where I talk a lot of basics with details, and we sewed 6 garments in that learning or sewing course. But in this online sewing course, I go deeper into more detail, and I teach all of the foundational tools, and then at the end of the course, we draft our own patterns to fit our own bodies so that we can get a garment that we're very happy to wear out in public. So I love it. That's what I love to do. But some of you may not know that I'm also an author. I am the author of Step Into It, Overcoming Trials That Lead to Purpose. And this was a God assignment after tragedy happened in my life. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that my husband passed away in 2018. And after that, going through my grief process and healing, God called me to write a book, and I did, where I shared my story, not only the death of my husband, but other trials that I had been through in my life previously, and how God gave me a framework, the 4 steps: stand, trust, endure, and proceed, to walk that thing out and to step into the purpose for which He has created me. And I know a lot of you have read the book, and I appreciate you for that. So the book is, like I said, it's a God assignment, and I am so blessed by all of you who reach out to me to tell me how much it has encouraged you. So I am an author. Also, I am a transformational speaker, and I share a message of hope, perseverance, and triumph for those who are living in the midst and aftermath of devastating life trials. You know, we all go through our trials in life. And I believe, because I am a believer of God, that He uses everything. Nothing is a waste. No trial that we can ever go through is a waste, because God can use it to not only increase our faith, but also to help other people and to encourage other people who will go through the same thing. So that's what I do. But above all of that, I am a woman of God. I am a woman of faith. I love me some Jesus. For those of you who've been following for a while, you already know that I proudly proclaim the name of Jesus. I don't hide it. I don't shy away from it. Jesus is my everything. He is my life. He is my source. And without Him, there is no me. So you will hear me talk about Jesus for those of you who are new here. So that's what I do. That's who I am. And let's see what you guys, your cover stitch video helped me a lot. Oh, great. So many people really loved that series because I, went through all of the details about the machine, and I love that machine so much. And I'm glad that was helpful for you, because it helped a lot of people. Let's see. Amen for Jesus. That's right, Gwendolyn. Yes, amen for Jesus. I love me some Jesus. Okay, so now we're going to get into it, and this is how it's going to work today. I'm going to show you guys what I made for quarter 1, and then we're going to get into some questions and answers. I'm going to do a group of questions, and then we're going to have a giveaway. Then I'll do another group of questions, then we're going to have a giveaway. So let's talk about what I made in 20. Oh, there's another one who loves the cover stitch. It helped me getting to know mine. I'm so glad, Tawanda, I'm glad that you enjoyed that. You love my sewing room. Cheryl says she loves my sewing room. Me too. It's my happy place. I love it too. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about what I sewed in first quarter. Starting with, I'm going to show you the pattern first. You guys may be familiar with this one. This is McCall's 8138. It's a fit and flare dress, and let me show you mine. is that cute? I used a rib knit, and what drew my attention to this pattern was the center front zipper. I absolutely love it. The model on the envelope, she had a zipper or a zipper ring for her pull. What do you call it? A zipper pull ring. So I found one at Joann's, and I just love it. It is so cute. The fit is amazing. I love the length. And yeah, so I used the rib knit that I picked up from Joann's Fabric, and oh my gosh, I just absolutely love it. Beautiful styling, yes. You know, I am all about styling, Renee. I love, love, love to style my garments, and I try to get as many styling options from my garments whenever I make them, so I love, love, love. Okay, so that's dress number 1. Let's see, next, ooh, I can't wait to show you guys this because this is not, I haven't shown this one on YouTube. So this is McCall's 5244. It's a crop jacket, and I also made accessories to go along with it with Simplicity 4178. So I made the crop jacket with a animal print fleece, and I made a pillbox hat and a clutch bag with the leftover fabric. So let me show you guys this. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it. Check that out. Is that cute or what? I love it. And you can see the different ways I styled it. I started off with a pair of white denim jeans, and then I styled it with the fit and flare dress that I just showed you guys. And then that middle picture is my favorite lace skirt. For those of you who've been following for long, I've been wearing this skirt for many years. It's a favorite because it belongs to my mother-in-law. I kept her Bible and her lace skirt, and I will wear it until the threads fall off. That's how much I love it. And then I paired it with a pair of jeans because, you know, dress it down. And then my final signature look is with the sheath dress, the black crushed velvet sheath dress. And you can see I styled it with my pillbox hat and the clutch purse. Absolutely love it. Gwendolyn, yes girl. Animal print is styling. It is so awesome. I love it. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. This is Berta 7043, and it's a classic sheath dress. This one is, it has that vintage style, and I've made this a couple of times. I made it when I first started my blog. It was a black one, and I wore a black hat with long or elbow length gloves, and I made it in white with a big white hat. You guys, you know I love to wear hats. You see I'm wearing my tea hat today. So I've made it twice before. So I made it again, but this time, let me show you. I made it with a green Ponte knit, and I just love it. The fit, the fit is always good because, I've worked with the pattern several times, but I just love a classic sheath dress. And I don't have them in all colors, but pretty soon I'm sure I will because I love making them. And then I styled it with a scarf tied into a big bow with a brooch at the center. And then the shoes, ladies, oh my gosh. I love the shoes, but I can only wear those shoes for maybe 5 minutes standing. These shoes are for sitting only, so I will only wear them if I'm going someplace where I'm going to be sitting. Thank you, thank you. Yes, it is very classy. I love it. So those are the garments that I have finished, but I have one more that I'm working on that I have not finished, but I'm planning to finish it before the end of this quarter, so that's why I'm adding it in this time. And it is this jumpsuit 7908 by McCall's, and I've had it for a while. A lot of these patterns I've had for a while. Oh, and let me tell you guys this. My plan for 2022 is to sew 22 patterns from my collection. I want to sew 22 of the patterns that I already have because I don't want to just keep buying patterns and not using them. Hi, Roz. It's so good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. So I don't want to just keep sewing or buying patterns and stashing and not sewing anything, and that's what I had been doing for the longest time. So this year, I'm sewing 22 patterns for the year 2022, and I'm well on my way. So this one, I will show you guys how far I've gotten, and I'll tell you why I didn't finish yet. But I'm using this cute pink woven fabric, and it's actually a mystery fabric. I purchased this many years ago from Michael Levine, downtown LA, before they closed, and they had a section called, or department called the Loft, and on the Loft there were just boxes of fabric. You could just go in and find gems, no labels, nothing. It was just mystery fabric. So I got this one, and I did the center front zipper again, and I'm gonna put, or I did put the ring, the zipper, or the zipper ring on it because I love it so much. So what happened was, when I put my pockets on, they were crooked and I did top stitching and everything. So I took the pockets off, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was, the reason I wanted to sew this pattern was because it had these front pockets on the pants portion. And after all of the alterations I made, and I made a lot of alterations to get this to fit, I forgot to put the pocket piece on. So I decided to just take it apart after all of that finishing and top stitching. So I've just ripped it open, and I'm gonna add the pockets and just redo this. So I plan to have this done before the end of the month. Michael Levine is still open? Say what? I heard that they were closed. Did they open again? I'm gonna have to go check that out because I heard that they went out of business. I heard that they went out of business, but that there is another store or someone took over or something. So maybe that's it, but is it still the name Michael Levine? Let me know, because I mean, it's not like I need any fabric because I have so much, but if they're still open, I will make a trip down there. All right. Okay, so those are the items that I sewed for Q1 and that I'm finishing up for Q1. So now I want to get into some of the Q&A. And like I mentioned in the opening, you were there yesterday, Sharice, and it's still called Michael Levine? Oh my gosh. I'm definitely going to have to make a trip over there because I thought they had gone out of business. Well, that makes me happy. That makes me happy because I love Michael Levine. I've been going there since the early 90s when I first started to sew. So yeah, I will go. Oh, Stephanie says it's open, just a new buyer. So a new buyer, a new owner? Okay, all right, I'm gonna go check it out, ladies, because I need to find out because I love that place. Okay, Sharice, she said, yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm gonna go check it out, thank you. Okay, now, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the Q&As, and these are questions that were submitted by members of my private email community because I sent out a form for them to enter. Now, if you are not part of my private email community and you feel like you're missing out, it's okay. You can still get in on my private email community because I'm planning to do this again. If this one goes well, then I plan to do a Tea Time Live with Anita Q&A and giveaway at the end of every quarter. So you can get subscribed to my private email community, and then you will be able to Hi, Shanita! My sister is here. Shanita, it's so good to see you. Thank you for joining me. So you will be able to get in on the future giveaways and Q&As. But if we have time at the end of this one, because there were a lot of questions submitted and I had to group some of them because there were so many, if I have time at the end of this, I will open it up for questions here in the chat. But for right now, hold off on your questions in the chat until I get through the ones that have already been submitted. So let's see. Stephanie, oh my gosh, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining. Stephanie has my heart, you guys. She's my sister in every way. And I just thank you for joining me, Stephanie. I love you. Okay, so we're gonna get into the Q&As, and let me go get the cards. All right, first question. Do you ever make a muslin to test the fit of a garment? Yes, I do, but not all the time. I'm gonna be totally honest, I am very impatient. I'm very impatient when it comes to sewing, and I just want to get to it. However, there are some garments that I will definitely make a muslin for, and one is if it has a lot of details, like a lot of top stitching and all kinds of darts and lots of details. I will make a muslin to test the fit because I don't want to cut into my good fabric and sew all of those details and then find out that it doesn't fit well. So for those of you who are new to sewing, a muslin is a test garment. Some people call it a toile, and it's just testing the garment for fit. So I will test if it has a lot of details for fit, or if I'm cutting into some really good expensive fabric. And I have messed up some good expensive fabric because I'm impatient. So I will make muslins for that reason. Okay, next question. What was your most challenging learning curve for you in your sewing journey? Okay, so when I first started, I don't remember having much of a challenge. I jumped in so quickly. I had an amazing instructor who taught me the basics, and I didn't have a lot of struggle. But now I can say that my greatest challenge is fit. And I think that could be true for a lot of us because, let's be honest, a lot of us come into this sewing game because we want to make garments that fit us better than the garments in ready to wear did. So I still have I mean, that's my biggest challenge. I can get garments to fit me well, but it takes work. So I'm going to have to say that is my greatest challenge. And I think a lot of you can probably agree. Let's see, anybody else saying anything about fit? No? So, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of our sew sisters have that challenge too. Okay, next question. I'm just now getting back into sewing after a 40-year hiatus. I'm struggling with knowing what the different knits are for garment sewing. I think my mother and I only had double knit when we sewed together. I would like to know how to sew leggings and athletic shorts for my grandchildren. Can you help me with that? Yes, and see, this is one of the reasons why I wanted people to submit questions in advance so that I could prepare to answer some of them where I would need to show you resources. So when it comes to fabric, my biggest encouragement is to get yourself some resources. Fit is a challenge for you. Yes, Shelly, I think it is for a lot of us. Monique said fit. Yes, fit is a challenge. That's why I don't sew pants. It's that crotch curve for me. Jeans, okay, let me tell you guys something. I have not been successful in perfecting the crotch curve on jeans. I can sew a pair of jeans with no problem. The top stitching, all of the details, they come out fine, but something about that crotch curve, and I've sewn other pants and it's just fine, but I'm gonna get it. So you will, when you see me post jeans, you'll know that I finally perfected that crotch curve. Okay, so I recommend getting yourself some fabric book resources, and this is one of them that I have. Sandra Betsina, I love her fabric books, and I think she has 3 out. This one is More Fabric Savvy. Then she has a new one. It's called All New Fabric Savvy. And so since this is more, there must have been a first one called Fabric Savvy, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, this is such a great resource. So what she does is she gives you information. So this is for beaded fabric. She gives you all of, I know you guys probably can't see all of the writing because it's probably too bright, but she gives you all of the information about the fabric. And then here, she gives you the details on how to work with the fabric. For instance, she tells you how to pre-treat your fabric. So if you need to pre-shrink that fabric through washing, she tells you that that's the pre-treating method that you need to use. She tells you how to lay out your fabric for cutting. She gives you information on marking, cutting, what type of interfacing to use, the threads and needles that are best for the type of fabric, and then the stitch length. That is helpful information because sometimes you think that a 2.5, which is standard, will work on all fabrics, but sometimes you're going to need to change that stitch length. The presser foot, the proper presser foot to use for the fabric, seam finishes, that's very important information, and then pressing, top stitching, closures, and hems. So this is a great resource. There are so many books on the market that help you to learn about fabric, and I have several, but I just wanted to show you this one. So you can go onto Google and type fabric books or something to just find yourself some great resources. I would suggest getting one on knits. Find yourself a book that teaches about knits. I have one, but I don't have it close to me. But there are lots of fabric books out there for that topic. So that's what I suggest you do. Okay, let's see what everybody's saying. Do you guys have any books that you would suggest to her? Type it in the chat if you know of some great resources for fabrics. Oh, and also you can get fabric swatches. There are companies, fabric stores that offer swatches where you can order a swatch to feel the fabric to see what it feels like. And some companies give you really big sizes of fabric for swatches. So one I know off the top of my head is Mood. They give fabric swatches. There's one called Zoloft. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then there are some other popular ones that they're just not coming to me. If you guys know of any companies that offer fabric swatches, will you please type it in the chat for our soul sister who submitted that question? Okay, so let's see. Singer, oh yeah, Singer, they have one. Is it I can't remember if it's a swatch book, but yeah, there are some companies that, swatch clubs too, you guys. There are companies who have swatch clubs where you can join and they will send out swatches every month, every other month, or however often they do that. And then that way you get to test and feel different types of fabric to familiarize yourself with it. And then if you get a fabric in your swatch kit, then if you like it, you can order it, to see how it works with your garment. So that's another idea. Let's see. Fabric Savvy. D, you have Fabric Savvy. I'm sure you love it. I absolutely love that book. It's a great resource. Let's see. Okay, so if you guys have other suggestions, please leave it in the chat for our sister. All right, now let's go to the next question. Let's see. Okay, that one. How often do you sew clothing for yourself? When cleaning your closets, do you donate them or have a clothing sale? Okay, so let's talk about how often I would like to sew clothing for myself. When I started, I was sewing I'm gonna say a garment a week, if not more. And I would like to get back to that, to be able to sew one a week or at least 3 garments a month. But because I have so much going on, I have other things going on in my life, I just haven't been able to do that lately. But I think I'm gonna get back into it. Like right now I'm starting to get back into my groove of sewing, but then there are other things that are happening in my life that are amazing that God is allowing. He's opening doors for me, so I'm not sewing as much as I would like, but I'm gonna get back into it. Sly Fox Francis. Okay, Sly Fox Fabrics has a good swatch set and weekly videos on their YouTube channel for different fabrics. Okay, that's a great resource, so check that one out. I like that idea that they have a YouTube channel where they show the fabrics. Okay, great. Check that out for my sister who asked that question. So yeah, and as far as cleaning out my closet, I did a challenge for myself back in 2018 where I wrote an entire series of blog posts called Swap, Sewing with a Purpose, after I discovered that I didn't have the clothes in my closet that I needed for everyday wear. So one of those videos was called, blog post was called How to Declutter Your Wardrobe. And I went through the steps of showing you how I decluttered my closet. It was a great series. The sisters were really enjoying that. But yeah, I went in there and cleared out everything I wasn't wearing. And I won't get into the details here, but if you go watch that blog post, then you will see all of the details that I give on that. And then if you don't know, I'm AnitaByDesign.com. So if you go there, click on the sewing tab in the navigation bar, and then it'll take you down to the blog post. So that's what I've done. Fit for Real People. Yes, that is a great resource for fitting. I love that book. Okay, now, next question. One more question, and then we're going to have a giveaway. Okay. Oh, these I grouped together because they're all similar. What do you purchase at Joann's, and what do you buy online, and why? Where do you purchase most of your fabric? Do you have a favorite place to shop? How and where to find good clothing materials? I find it difficult shopping online because you can't feel it. Okay, so let's start with what I purchase at Joann's and what I purchase online. Okay, first of all, I have a lot of fabric here in my collection at home because when I started, I used to go downtown, and we have the garment district there, and we have blocks and blocks of fabric stores where you can purchase your fabric. So I would go down there and just stock up. But I still have it here because I don't sew that much to where I'm sewing all of that fabric. So I have that resource. So I don't do a lot of online shopping because it's here, but like I said, I haven't been there in a very long time, in years actually. And I have Joann's really close to me, so it's convenient. So I do go there a lot. So that would be my reason for shopping at Joann's. And you know, my local Joann's, they have really nice fabric. I know some people say that Joann's doesn't have great fabric. That's not my Joann's has really great fabric. So hi, Carrie, it's so good to see you here. Fit for Real People was one of the first books I purchased when I returned to sewing in 2007. Yeah, it's a great book. So I go there because it's local, it's convenient, and they do have nice fabric there. And I already forgot what the other question was, so let me go back. Where do you purchase most of your fabric? Yes, downtown. Do you have a favorite place? Yes. Well, Michael Levine was my favorite place until I thought they were closed. Now I'm finding out that they may be open, or they may be under a new name. So I will be going back there. It's not like I need any fabric right now, and I have not purchased like lots of fabric in a very long time, like years, but I am going back down there to check it out. So that would be my favorite fabric store. And how and where to find good clothing materials. Okay, so like I just shared with you, good materials, I find it difficult to shop online. Okay, so because you can't feel it, so get some swatches, join a swatch club so you can get a feel for fabrics. And as far as good fabrics, then I just say, you know, go and sample some of the stores. Like one I know has good quality fabric is Mood Fabrics, Melanated Fabrics. They have really good quality fabrics. We have our sponsor here today, LA Finch Fabrics. They have some really nice fabrics, and I'm going to show you some of those today. But yeah, just try different places. You know, there are so many fabric stores out there. But for those of you who are here, if you know of fabric stores that have good quality fabric, can you share with our sister in the chat? Can you share where you're shopping online? Let's see. Yeah, can you guys share where you're shopping online so that she can get some advice? Okay, so it is time for our first giveaway. So I want to introduce you to our first sponsor, and that is True Bias. True Bias offers wearable modern patterns for you to sew at home. And I love True Bias. I have several of their patterns. The ones I can remember off the top of my head are, I have the Calvin dress, I have the Southport dress, I have the Lander pants, the Hudson pants, the Ogden cami, and there are others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but oh my gosh, they have very stylish, amazing patterns. And you know, I find that of the ones that I've sewn already, the fit is really good. There's not an excessive amount of ease, which I really like. And I think that is probably true with a lot of indie patterns. That's what I've heard. But yeah, I just love it. For those of you who are new, indie patterns are patterns that are designed by independent pattern designers. They're not from the big box pattern stores. They're independent pattern designers. So True Bias is our first sponsor, and they will be giving away $25 towards the purchase of fabric at their store. And I want to show you some of the patterns that they have. Here are some samples of some of their patterns, and I think they are so cute. Look at those. Yes. Okay, so we have a winner. I already picked the winners through the people who entered the drawings through my private email community. So again, if you're not part of my email community, then you will want to go over there and get signed up so that you can join the community and participate in these things. Okay, so let's reveal our winner for the $25 from True Bias to shop in their store. Let's see, who do we have? Let's see. Who's it gonna be? Congratulations, Julia. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. Thank you for entering the drawing. Thank you for being part of my private email community. I will be in touch with you via the email that you used to join the email community, and that will be next week. So I will reach out to you to get your address, and then I will, or get your information, and then I will connect you with True Bias. So thank you, and a huge shout out and thank you to True Bias for sponsoring my first Tea Time Live with Anita. I'm just so thrilled to have this type of support. So congratulations, Julie. You guys give her some shout outs, give her congratulations. So happy. Okay. Let's go and answer some more questions, and then we'll do another giveaway. All right, next question. Let's see, answered that one already. If you ever lost your sojo, how did you get it back? Yes, I just let it be. Whenever I don't feel like sewing, I just don't sew. I just don't. I don't try to do any fancy tricks or I don't have any tools or techniques that I use to get myself back into sewing. If I don't feel like sewing, I just don't sew, and I just wait until I feel like it to allow myself to get back into it. And that's just the honest truth, you know. I know that there are lots of tips and techniques that people use, like they look at inspiration from other people, or they will look at fabric, and those things do inspire me. And when I'm in one of those times where I don't feel like sewing, I do get inspired by looking at fabric or seeing what the other sisters are doing. But I just wait and allow myself to just get back into it when I feel like it. I just saw somebody comment, and I want to look for that, about losing the sojo. I can't find it. But yeah, so when thanks, I made them. I love this lady. I just love her. Bianca, thank you for being here. She said, yes, don't force it. That's it. Just allow it to be. Sometimes we lose our sojo because maybe we just need a break. You know, maybe we just need a break to just sit down and be still. So yeah. And let's see, I have another sister who shared. I want to show her comment. That's it. That's what yes. Sometimes you just need rest. That's it. Sometimes you just need rest or a break. And I agree. Thank you for sharing. Okay, next question. How do you sharpen your scissors at home? I do not. I don't sharpen my scissors at home. If you need to get your scissors sharpened and you don't have a sharpener at home, now I think you can probably use the kitchen knife sharpener to sharpen your scissors. I don't know, but I wouldn't do that. There are companies who will sharpen your scissors for you professionally. At our local Joann's, there's a company that comes in every so often, and then Joann's will give us flyers. Like if I go to shop at Joann's and the sharpening guy, I don't know what you call them, but if he's going to be coming soon, then they give out flyers for you to know what the date is. So I would suggest having a professional to sharpen your scissors. Check with your local fabric store if you have one to see if they have someone who comes in to sharpen the shears, or if they can suggest a place where you can go to get them sharpened. If you guys know of a place or some type of company that sharpens the sewing shears, can you please leave that in the chat for our sisters? Don't use the, okay, somebody said, don't use the kitchen sharpener. That cuts blade on both sides of your scissors. Okay, you heard it. Don't do that. Don't use the kitchen sharpener. Make sure you are getting them done professionally. That's my advice. Yes, Carrie says get them sharpened professionally. I agree. I totally agree, because I don't want to mess them up. I saw through the male scissor knife sharpener on Shark Tank. What? Oh, that's interesting. Don't remember. She doesn't remember the name. Wow, that's interesting. That's needed. So, yeah, don't sharpen them at home. Just get them professionally done. That's my advice. And some of the sisters. Okay, next question. What did we leave off with? Sharpen. Are you possibly considering writing a sewing manual? You know what? That idea has come to my mind to write a sewing book. But if I do it, I mean, it's not like it's in the plans or anything, but if I were to do that, I would write a book for new beginners about the process of learning to sew. And I would go into a lot of great details like I do with my sewing course, but even more. But yeah, if I were to do something like that, it would be for new beginners, and I think that would be fun, but I know it would be a lot of work. Whew, writing my book was work, but writing a manual or a educational book like that, I cannot even imagine how much work it would be. So one day, if God opens the door for me to do that, then yes, I will do it. So let's see. Oh, back to the sharpening question. I think Joann's has a scissor sharpener. We use them at the cutting counter. Oh, well, that's great. So maybe we should just ask when we go into Joann's if they can sharpen your scissors right there on the spot. Okay, thanks for sharing there. Or sharing that. Oh, it's called Sharp Aid. So maybe sharpaid.com. Somebody can check that out, look it up and see if that's a company who can sharpen your scissors for you. Maybe you ship them to the company and they ship them back sharpened. I don't know. Okay, so is it too late to join your class? If yes, when is the next enrollment? It's closed right now, but I'm going to be opening again in June. So get on the wait list for that so that you can be ready. Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh wait, here's another sharpening. Simply Sharper in New London, Wisconsin is a great mail-in service for scissors. There you have it, you guys. Simply Sharper in New London, Wisconsin. So are you guys seeing that? There's a great resource. Oh, I lost it. Fiskars made a scissor sharpener we would use. I had no idea. So here, you guys, these are some great resources. Fiskars has a sharpener, and they make scissors, so it has to be great. Okay, so check that out. Let's see. Okay, let's go with the next question. I don't even know where I left off, you guys. Okay, did that one. I did that one. How do you sew elastic to your fabric using a serger or a sewing machine? So for this question, I would actually have to show you in a video because it would be too hard to tell you, but I will just try to tell you with a few words. I wasn't sure if you were asking if I sew one or the other or both, so I'll just give you both. So the question was, how do you sew elastic to your fabric using a serger or sewing machine? Using a sewing machine, I would use a twin needle, and that you want to make sure you're using the proper distance or size of twin needle to sew along the whichever size fabric or elastic you're using, and that will help you to get the straight stitch on the top and the zigzag, and it will give you the stretch, you know, with your fabric. Or you can use a zigzag stitch on your regular machine. Now, if you're going to do it on your serger, the serger does everything for you because it sews in a stretch stitch. So you would just align your elastic along the seam allowance, or yeah, the seam allowance, and just sew it in. Okay? So, but again, it's kind of hard to see that with me just saying the word, so I would have to show you in a video. So I may have to add that to my list of upcoming videos. Okay, let's see. Okay, looks like there's a conversation about foil. Someone said I wouldn't use foil to sharpen the scissors. Carrie says I wouldn't use foil. So maybe someone suggested foil. Okay. Okay, here's one. Let's see. Oh, okay, that was the foil. Carol, oh my goodness. Carol is in the house, and she said for hers, she stay away from aluminum foil. Okay, you guys, let me just tell you. Carol, thank you for coming. I'm so glad to have you here. Carol, act right. And I told Carol, I said, Carol, if you're going to come to the tea party, you got to act right. Because Carol will show out, y'all. Carol will show out. But I love me some Carol. Thank you for being here, sis. I told her to act right in the tea party. All right, Carol, thank you for your tip. All right, next question. Oh, I keep going back to the same questions. This may be a duplicate question. How do you sew a cuff, neckline, or sleeve on your serger or sewing machine without a free arm? Okay, so I created a video for this one because I need to show you. So I did a quick little clip for you to explain how to do that. Okay, so I'm demonstrating on my Baby Lock Zeal, which is one of the beginner machines from the Genuine collection. And let's see. So I'm using a sleeve that I've already done. So I would take the sleeve, and you want to remove your free arm. If your machine doesn't have access, you don't have this. So if you were to use a free arm, then you would take the sleeve, or you would fold over your seam allowance, and then you would take your sleeve and fit it around the free arm. And I wanted to demonstrate this for anyone who doesn't know what a free arm is. So you would just sew along, and that's fine and dandy. However, if your machine does not have that, if you don't have access to a free arm, then I would take the sleeve with the right side facing out, or the neckline, whatever you're sewing, and then you're going to fold over your seam allowance. Okay, and then you're going to place it on your machine with the right side facing out. And then you're going to open it up and insert your sleeve right under your presser foot. And then you're just going to sew along with the right side facing out from the inside. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's how I do it whenever I'm sewing a sleeve, if I don't have access, but I have free arm on mine. So I hope that answers your question. That's the way I do it. And let's see, what are the sisters saying? No comments about the free arm. Okay. Okay. Next, where are we? Next question. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. When did you know that sewing was your passion? Immediately. Immediately. After I learned to sew, I made a skirt to wear to work, and it was amazing. It was so good. And when I learned to sew, I actually learned how to use a serger on my very first garment. So it was professionally finished on the inside. So I knew that I was going to do this thing. There was no question. I enjoyed learning, and I just continued, and here I am teaching other people. But yes, I knew immediately that I was going to continue. I had a passion for it right away. Okay, let's see. Love the hat. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next question. I'm trying to stay in order, and I'm trying to look at this without my glasses. Oh, what number was I on? Bear with me, you guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's time for another giveaway. All right, so let's meet a new sponsor. Okay. Our next sponsor is Cashmere Patterns, and I am just so thrilled to be highlighting them because they take care of our plus size and curvy sisters. If you're not familiar with Cashmere Patterns, you guys, you don't see me. Let me get out of here. You don't see me going or sharing my screen because I couldn't figure out how to do that and get back. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to show pictures. But cashmerette.com, they have amazing patterns for our plus size sisters and curvy sisters. I mean, stylish patterns. So it's not like, I don't want to wear that. They have amazing patterns. And I love that Jenny has done this because she is a plus size sister, so she knows what it's like and she knows what our sisters need. So she has created something for our sisters to, feel good about themselves, sewing plus size clothes. So let's go and see who our winner is. Cashmerette is giving away 2 free patterns for you to shop on their store, on their website. So let's see who our winner is. Oh, first I want to show you some of their patterns. Here are some samples of some of the patterns. See what I'm talking about? This is stylish stuff. This is really cute. I absolutely love it. Are those cute? Yes. Okay. So let's go and find our winner. You guys ready? Is my winner ready? Are you going to be the winner? Congratulations, Ruth. I'm so happy and excited for you. I will be reaching out to you via the email that you used to join my private email community, and I will be putting you in touch with Jenny at Cashmere Patterns. Thank you so much. I'm just thrilled. All right, so let's move on to our next question, our next group of questions. So let's see, what number were we on? I'm trying to keep up with the numbers. Maybe that will help me. Okay, let's see. Nope, that wasn't the one. Oh, this is the one. When did you know it was time to get back to sewing after the passing of your husband? Whew, that one was really, it took a while. It took a while. I remember when I first went back into the sewing room after he passed away to try to sew, and it was very difficult because he was a big part of my sewing. He was my photographer, he was my videographer to help me, with the blog. So it was kind of difficult, but I remember when I went back in there and I actually did stay to sew something, I literally cried through the entire project. And I just allowed myself to do that. I allowed myself to cry and sew. So I just cried and sewed. I didn't know when I was going to be ready. I just went in and tried it and did it. And after I did that, I felt so good. I felt good about myself because I love sewing. It's my passion and it's very therapeutic for me. But after he passed, I just didn't have it in me. I just couldn't. I couldn't go into the sewing room, and I actually closed the door for a while because I didn't want to go in. But then after I did it, I felt good, and I'm so glad because I'm still sewing. So that's it. I just allowed myself to go in and try, and it happened. So thank you for asking. Thank you that. Brandon, somebody said, hi, Brandon, is my son here? What? Somebody said, hey, Brandon, your mom rocks. He must be here. Brandon, hi. Thank you for coming, son. Oh my gosh, thank you for stopping by. Where is he? I'm looking for him. Maybe he'll come in again. Okay, so let's go to the next question. I'm sorry I left that card up while I was talking. I forgot. I guess I got a little silly with that question. But okay, next one. Let's see. Next question. I would like to know how to put a blind zipper with a lining and without. Okay, that is something I would definitely have to show you in a video. So I have added that to my list of videos to do. That I can't tell you how to do that with words, and I didn't make a video for it because it would have been more involved. It will require a longer video. So I will do that. I've added it to my list, so stay tuned for that. Next question. I'm brand new to sewing. Do you recommend a certain brand or type of pattern for beginners? Yes, I do. The Learn to Sew patterns. The Learn to Sew patterns are amazing. They are designed for beginners, and I even sew them, but they're amazing. So McCall's has a line of patterns called Learn to Sew, and with each pattern, they give you different skills that you will learn while working with that particular pattern or that particular garment, and it is literally designed for beginners. One of my favorites is McCall's 7531. This is like one of my TNT patterns. It's a beginner pattern and I use it all the time. It is using knit fabric, and I know a lot of people are intimidated by knits, but they give you the skills. Like here, they tell you, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it tells you what you're gonna learn while you're sewing the pattern. So here it says you're gonna learn to set in a sleeve. You will learn to sew a slit. You will learn machine stitched hems, and it's easy to sew with no zipper. So these are gold, I think, when it comes to beginners learning to sew. Here's another one that I love, McCall 7122. It's also for knits. This one is not. This one doesn't require knits. You can use a woven fabric. And then this one I think is really cute. McCall 7943, very easy, very few details. That's one of the things with the Learn to Sew patterns. They don't have a lot of details, so you can practice on the basic skills. So that's what I would recommend for new beginners. Okay, let's see. I love knits and denim. I love knits. Love, love, love knits. You guys see me sewing with knits a lot. So yes. What is a T? Oh, thank you for asking. What is a TNT pattern? A TNT pattern is a tried and true pattern. It's a pattern that you have made all of the adjustments to fit it to your body. And the next time you go in, after you make all of the adjustments and get that pattern to fit your body perfectly, you don't have to go and make any adjustments when you get ready to sew that pattern the next time. So it's been tested, tried and tested. Some people say tried and tested. Some people said tried and true, but it has been adjusted to fit your body. So that's what a TNT is. Okay, let's see. You love my hat. Thank you. I do too. I love this hat so much. This was a gift from my husband for Mother's Day many years ago, and I absolutely love it. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We can't see. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sorry when I was talking about getting into the sewing room because I forgot to take the card down. Sorry. Okay, let's go to another question. Let's see. Where are we? All right, let me go through and find. Okay, there we are. I'm brand new to, okay, we just did that one. Are you able to do a tutorial for a trouser pattern and adjustments for a bigger bottom? Woo, child. So, yes, when that's going to happen, I don't know. I really don't know because I have so many other things and I don't have like a really big bottom. So I can show you the adjustments that I make because I mean, I do have to make adjustments to my patterns. I have to, make it a little bit bigger back there. And I guess it works the same way no matter how much more, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's something I will consider doing. So just stay tuned. I'll add it to my list. But another thing I would suggest is if you know of soul sisters who do tutorials on YouTube who have the body side, who have a body similar to yours, I would definitely look into, you know, checking with them to see if they have those types of tutorials because it's one thing to have someone to teach you whose body is different, but it's totally different when you can get that instruction from someone who is familiar with your body because their body is the same and they can give you the tips that you need to help along. Okay, so just thought I would throw that out there. But yeah, I'll be doing some videos on pants coming up eventually. I don't know when, you guys, but it's coming. Okay, let's see, where was I need an assistant to help me with this next time probably. Okay, tips for keeping a sewing space neat and tidy. Oh, I love this. I don't have a sewing craft room and I must put everything back each time I sew. Any suggestions on keeping my space tidy? Thanks. Yes, I have a full on sewing studio because I have the space, but I know there are a lot of sisters who have this issue and struggle with this. I remember when I didn't have a space and I would sew at my kitchen table and I would have to put everything away every time and carry it and put it back in a closet. And it was, I mean, I loved it. I didn't complain. As long as I was sewing, I was fine. But now that I have a sewing room, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. I just love it. So I created a video because I want to show you something that I think is a great idea. And there may be other tips. If you guys who have small spaces or don't have a dedicated sewing room, if you have some tips, will you please share with our sister down in the chat so that she can get some more ideas. But here is what I wanted to show you. It's a little rolling cart. And you can put your machine on top. So you want to make sure you get one that fits your machine and make sure you get one that's on wheels because you can just roll it in and roll it out. You have your drawers there so that you can keep all of your tools, your supplies in the drawers, and you can just get little plastic containers to compartmentalize the things in the drawers. And yeah, I just think this is a great idea. I found this one at, I think it was, oh gosh, I forgot. It was one of those stores like, oh gosh, I forgot. One of the discount stores that you go to. Why can't I think of it? It may come back to me. If it does, I'll tell you. But yeah, I think that's a great idea for storage. Rolling cart, great idea. Yes. Okay, you've used the cart idea. Double A, use the cart idea. Okay, I'm glad. Let's see. Great idea for storage. Oh, this is great going back to the pattern adjustments. Ahead of the Curve has a great explanation on making adjustments, and we're going to talk about that later for a larger bottom. Thank you for sharing that because I want to share her book. Great idea for storage. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next question. How do we make sure we're getting the right cut when cutting a pattern on a stretchy knit fabric? Now, I wasn't sure if you meant how do we get the right cut in terms of size or actual cutting. So as far as getting the right size, you just want to look at the finished measurement or the finished garment measurement on the pattern tissue. Most patterns will have that marked at the bust line, the waist, and the hip. So you want to check that to see what the finished garment measurement is and choose the size for the fit that you want. Now, if you're talking about cutting, then I would definitely recommend a rotary cutter because for me, it's just easier than using scissors on knits. You're not stretching your fabric as you're cutting. You're just using it and sliding it along the cutting line. So that's my suggestion. I hope that answered your question. Okay. Oh, this is a great idea for the storage. I bought a computer desk and made it into storage and a homemade ironing board on top that works great. Yeah, I think that's a great idea too. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. Next question. What part of the pattern always requires a stay stitch before actually sewing the garment? And is it best to sew your stay stitches when garment is flat before you sew your actual seam? I always do a stay stitch on curves, so the necklines, waistlines that have a little curve, any area on the pattern where there's like a pronounced curve, I will do the stay stitch, and that's to prevent it from stretching out of shape. And yes, I do the stay stitch while the pattern is flat before sewing it together, because the purpose of doing the stay stitch is to prevent that area from stretching out while you're working with it. So, hope that answers your question. Let's see. Off word. Okay. Next. Let's see. I hear so card. Okay, we just did that one. Let's do, are patterns always correct but yet sometimes confusing? No, patterns are not always correct, and yes, sometimes they are confusing. Sometimes there are misprints, sometimes there's misinformation, sometimes they will skip information by accident, and then yeah, it can be very confusing. When you can find a tutorial on YouTube to help you sew a particular pattern, that is like, it is golden. Also, I would like to recommend patternreview.com. If you go onto patternreview.com, there are people, soul sisters and brothers in that community, who are sharing their experience with the different patterns. So I always like to go on there, especially if I'm sewing something for the first time and it has a lot of details and there's a lot of involvement. I will go on to patternreview.com to see what other people are saying about the patterns. And it is so helpful because it can help you to cut out or to skip something that could cause just drama in your sewing project. So yeah, I would definitely, and that came up with the jumpsuit that I showed you guys that I'm working on right now. There was information, or a lot of people commented about the sizing of the pocket, the front pocket, that it wasn't big enough. So because of that, I was able to make the adjustment to my pocket before actually sewing the garment. So patternreview.com. Will somebody type that in the chat? Patternreview.com. It's very, very helpful. So let's see. I would suggest measuring yourself, then a flat pattern. I'm not sure which question that was. Oh, that's probably about getting the fit or cutting knit patterns maybe. But yeah, that's always a great idea to measure yourself and then the pattern whenever you're making adjustments. That's what I do when I'm adjusting my pattern pieces. Okay, let's go to our next question. Is it time for a giveaway? Let's see. We are on, okay, almost time. Our patterns, oh, we did that one already. When will the beginner sewing classes be open again for registration? The class is going to open again in June, near the end of June. I think it's going to be the end of June, in second quarter, because there are so many people asking. I mean, I was planning on opening it again anyway, but I decided to wait until second quarter because I had so much going on first quarter. So yes, it will be opening again in June, and there is the website, learntosewcourse.com. If you're interested, all of the information is over there for you to get details about the course. So yes, it will be opening again this year. All right, next question. We're almost ready for another giveaway after this question. What would you suggest for someone just starting out? Where do you begin? Haha. Learn to sew. Go and check out my information for the Learn to Sew course, because I walk the beginner through all of the basics that you need to build a solid foundation when learning how to sew. All right. The other thing I would suggest is find someone who teaches in a style that you learn. So if you like to learn with great detail, if you need a lot of details, and if you need step-by-step instructions, find someone who teaches that way. If you don't need all of that, find someone who doesn't go into so many details and who's just going to give you the meat, I mean, not the meat, but the information, enough information to help you go off and do everything without all the detail. And then I will also say, make sure you learn about your sewing machine. If you already have a machine, learn how to use your machine. Use your sewing manual. This is my manual for the Zeal. This is the beginner machine that I use in my sewing course. But go through your sewing manual and learn how to use it. And then find someone who can walk you through the process of learning how to sew. There are a whole lot of other tips I can give you, but find someone who can guide you through the process. Okay, now let's see, where are we? It's time for a giveaway. All right, let me introduce you to our next sponsor, and that is, where is it? PDF Plotting. PDF Plotting, I just discovered them, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I discovered PDF Plotting when I decided I wanted to try PDF patterns. I've tried a couple in the past, and I did not like working with PDF patterns because I don't like the extra work of having to print and cut them and tape them together. That just wasn't my thing. I didn't like it at all. So I just shied away from the PDF patterns. And then I found out about PDF Plotting, and what they do, you send your file over to them, and then they will print and send the pattern to you. So your PDF will become a paper copy, everything done for you. All you have to do is cut it and start sewing. So PDF Plotting has given away 3 $50 certificates towards PDF printing at their store. So I'm going to announce who the winners are, and we have 3 of them. So I'm going to pull all 3 of them at the same time. So let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, here's a great comment for learning to sew. Some of your local sewing centers offer sewing lessons or can refer you. That is a great, great tip. Especially some of the independent sewing centers, they actually have classes that you can go in, you can go in and sign up for and learn how to sew. Thank you so much for that, Tanya, because I think most towns probably have that where you can go in and learn to sew in person. Let's see. Okay. Oh, wait. I just saw one I wanted to highlight. Where did it go? Oh, I get mine printed at a local print shop. They print mine for $8 a page, 44 by 36. So there's an option. If you don't like working with PDF patterns, you can go to your local print shop to see if they will print it for you. That's awesome. Let's see. PDF. Oh, love PDF Plotting. Great job and fast shipping. Apps. Oh my gosh, the shipping is speedy fast, like really fast. I get mine, I want to say within a couple of days. They are really fast and great service. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's pick a winner. Let's pick a winner for our PDF. 3 winners actually. So let's see. Our first winner, let's get some music. Let's get some music going. Who's our first winner going to be? Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. Excited. I'll be reaching out to you to get connected with you and give you the information that you need to get your certificate so that you can start ordering your PDF patterns. Yes, and a huge shout out and thank you to PDF Plotting. And I did think I forgot to thank Jenny at Cashmere. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting my first YouTube Live. All right, let's go into some more questions before we have more giveaways. What time is it? Oh, 1:15. I need to speed this up. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Okay, next question. Now, let me find the question, you guys. Where did we leave off? 24, I think. How often should machines be professionally serviced? I recommend annually to keep your machine up and running, properly. I get my machines serviced once a year. I mean, ever since I've started, because you don't want to just have them laying around and not using them and then go to use them and something is wrong. Your machine, there's a possibility that if you don't service your machine and don't use it for a long time, when you go back to use it, it's not going to work right. It's because the machines need to be upkept. So once a year is my recommendation. All right? Next question. Anita, you made a gorgeous navy suit blog date and a print suit. Could you schedule a sew along to make a suit or class? Since suits require extra steps and care, I'd be willing to pay a fee. Thanks. Okay, so thank you for the question. And because I serve new beginners here on my channel, I try to stay with more simple sew-alongs that are not too involved. However, I have thought about it over and over because people have asked me about getting into more, I don't want to say advanced, but more involved pattern tutorials for my advanced beginners. So for those who have already gone through the sewing course, those who have already learned how to sew here on my channel, then I have definitely considered doing more advanced tutorials, but I don't know how that's going to look yet. I don't know if I'm going to do it here on YouTube or if I'm going to have paid tutorials, which is something I have also thought about. So that's why I was so happy to see your question, because it is something that I have actually thought about. And thank you for offering to pay for it, because some people are like, I'm not paying for it, but sometimes to get the best, you gotta give it up, okay? All right, so yes, I am thinking about doing that. Let's see. You can buy those at Joann's or Walmart. I'm not sure. There's some conversation going on, so I'm not sure what she's talking about. All right, let's see. How and where do we join your email community? Okay, I should have put the link up here, but I didn't. If you go to my website, anitabydesign.com, click on the sewing tab and go down, you will find where you can join the email community. And then I'll put a link in here a little later when I can navigate over without getting lost. Okay? All righty. Next question. Let's see. Where are we? 25. Oh, what is your preferred pattern alteration method and why? Okay, I don't have a preferred method. However, I do love pattern fitting with confidence. Oops. Let me take that off. I love Pattern Fitting with Confidence by Nancy Zeman because she used the pivot and slide method, and it is so easy. And I recommend this one for new beginners, and I do recommend it in my online sewing course because it is so simple. So this is one that I really love. However, there are so many resources out there for fit that you could get lost in all of the fit books. But here are some that I recommend that I use with different techniques other than the pivot and slide. Fast Fit. This book is amazing, and it has a lot of different fitting techniques that you can use. Nancy Zeman's book, it's simple, but it is limited in the different types of adjustments that they teach. This one has a lot more. And also, Fit for Real People. Amazing, excellent book. Lots of different techniques, adjustments that you can learn here. And then the other one, this is an older book. It's from the Singer Sewing Reference Library, and this is Sewing Pants That Fit. Now, I found mine at abebooks.com, and they have a lot over there. This is out of print, so you won't be able to find it at any local stores, but if you go to abe.com, you can find this and lots of other books. When I first learned to sew, my instructor taught me the very basics, and then I bought all of the books I could find, and I would go to the library and check out these books, and they're all topical. So whichever topic you're wanting to learn, they had a book for it. So this is a great resource if you're working with pants, and I still use this to this day. Okay, so those are some of the fit books. Get yourself some resources and, you know, just play around. It's trial and error, and it is a journey, an ongoing journey. It's not like it's a one and done. Fit is something that we have to continue to learn and play around with. So hope that answers your question. If you guys know of any great books, any favorite books, then leave it down in the chat and let our sister know. Okay, I have books. I have all those old Singer sewing books, and they are priceless. Yes, they are priceless, timeless. Like, the techniques that they teach will never go out of style. So, yeah, I love them. All righty. I appreciate you so very much for serving us beginners. My daughter and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for trusting me with teaching you. Okay, let's go to our next question. Let's see, where are we? Many of the new fabrics that are available I know very little about. Most seem to be synthetics, which do not hold up well. If I am going to spend my time sewing a garment, then I want to use quality, mostly natural fiber fabrics. Can you share the various types of fabric, what they are made from, which ones are the best in quality, and where are the best places to purchase these fabrics? So I did share about the fabric book resources, so I'm going to tell you the same thing. Get yourself some resources for fabric and join some swatch clubs, order swatches from these companies, the fabric companies, and then there you go. You get yourself started that way. Get some resources. Okay, next question before we go into, well, I think we have a few more before we go into the next giveaway. Oh, just answered that one. I was wondering, who was your biggest inspiration in learning to sew? I would say my sewing instructor who taught me the basics. She was my biggest inspiration because she was so very patient with me. And every time I would show up for lessons, she would come wearing something that she had made. And that just inspired me so much. And the lady who I saw making her own clothes, who lit a fire under me to want to sew my clothes, was a friend of mine. We had a mutual friend, and when I saw her making all of her clothes, I wanted to try it, and I wore one of her dresses, and that was it. That's what led me to go and find a sewing instructor. So those two ladies are the ones who inspired me the most. Okay, let's see. I bought your t-shirt, Give Me Jesus, and a sewing machine. It fits well, and I get so many compliments. Please talk about the t-shirts. I am. It's coming up. It's part of the giveaway. It's coming. All right. Amy is here. Amy is my sister. Oh my gosh, Amy, I'm so glad to have you. I almost missed this. Excited to go back and catch the replay. You guys, Amy is such an amazing woman. She's one of my sisters that I've met through my coach, Patrice Washington, and I'm telling you, this girl, she has such a heart of love for people, and she is so supportive. Amy, thank you for being here. I love you. Thank you for showing up. All right. Now, let's go into our next question. Let's go into the next question. Where are we? I'm so glad you guys are so patient with me. I cannot find styles and fabrics that look good on me and that I enjoy wearing. I want to take some simple tops that I have made. that I have and make a pattern and sew my own. Are there any tricks or tips making your own patterns for already assembled garments? I love this question because I see sisters doing this all the time. I have never done that. I have never taken a garment apart and made a pattern to sew it, but I know there are a lot of people who have done it, so I can't give you any tips on it. The only thing I would think, or the way I think it would be done, is to take the garment apart, iron it flat so that you can get the true measurement, and then to just draw. No, it would already have the seam allowance. So if you need to add more seam allowance, because I'm assuming when you take it apart, it's just a small portion of that seam allowance. So you can either use the seam allowance that they have or add seam allowance. So wherever that seam allowance is, you can measure out to see how much it is. And if you want, you can add more. That's just my advice. I have no idea. I've never done that before. If there's anybody here who has taken your garments apart in your closet and sewn them back or made patterns, can you please talk to our sister? Can you give her some advice down below? Okay. I'm trying to, okay. Let's go to the next question. I'm trying to ignore people. Okay, all right, next is, the second part of her question is, my other question is, do you have experience in sewing jeans from scratch? No. As a tall person, it's always difficult for me to find jeans long enough that don't cost an arm and a leg, and I would love to try to make my own. Would you do a video making jeans, or have you already done one? No, I have not done a video making jeans, and yes, that is something I will do when I get that crotch curve figured out. I think I've got it. I just haven't gone back to try it again after my first 3 attempts. So yes, that's something I would definitely consider doing. But like I said, that would be one for the advanced beginners, because the new beginners, I think that would just be way too much. So yes, I will definitely consider doing that. Next question. I love your sew-alongs. Could you discuss your plans for upcoming sew-alongs? Are you planning, and that there were 2 questions, so I just put them together. Are you planning to do more YouTube sew-alongs in the future? Yes, I am. And like I shared earlier, because I've been so busy with other things going on in my life, I haven't done as many tutorials, but I do have plans to do more. I have 2 patterns. Actually, there are more, but these are 2 that are upcoming that I showed earlier. McCall's 8086. And it's a cute shirt dress. And then McCall 7943, this cute maxi dress. So these are 2 that I have in the works already. And if you guys remember, I shared this one, McCall's 8138. And I said that I was gonna do a sew along. I said that to a few people, and I actually bought the fabric and everything, but I didn't get a chance to do it right away. I'm still planning on doing this one. I have like a tan colored rib knit that I'm gonna make this one in. So those are a few that I have in the making, or planning to do. So there will be others too. Just be patient with me. I'm coming, you guys. I am coming. Okay, next. Any suggestions or tool used to make accurate body measurements? Yes. A tape measure. This is the best tool. And some elastic. These are what I use to take my body measurements. I will tie the elastic around the key parts of the body that I want to measure, and then use the elastic to make sure I'm measuring in the right place. Now, there's a whole lot I could say about this, too much for this live right now, but in my beginner sewing course, I actually go through the entire process of teaching you how to take your body measurements. So if you want to get in there, do that. Or if you want to go back to the beginning of my YouTube channel, I teach how to do your waist, hip, and bust. So you can go check that out too. Okay? And if anybody else has any other tips, leave it down in the chat. You guys, I love to see you all supporting our sisters, so you can leave it there if you have any other suggestions. Okay, next question. Anita, how do you fix the gap in the neckline? Okay, where is it? Okay, Nancy Zeman's book, one of the reasons why I love it so much is that she teaches you how to choose the right size pattern. And she chooses you to choose or pick the cutting line, the size that you're going to cut based on the right size measurement, which is measuring here, from here, like right at your armpits across the front of your chest. And then she has a schedule or a guide that teaches you what size to choose based on that measurement. So if you can get your hands on this book, I highly recommend it. And I know there are other tips out there for getting rid of that gaping neckline. And Nancy's reasoning for choosing this size is because you get a better fit. But a lot of us have learned to choose our patterns based on our full bust measurement, and that sometimes gives us that gap because this area is smaller. So anyway, get her book because she has some amazing tips, and the way she explains that is so much better than what I'm doing right now. So if you guys also, if you have tips on how you get rid of that gaping neckline, please leave the tips down below. Okay, next question. Could you suggest any time-saving tips from start to finish of a garment? Yes, and I actually wrote a list for you. Number one, pre-treat your fabric from the beginning. When you get your fabric home, go ahead and pre-treat it. If it's safe to wash in the machine, wash it. If you need to dry clean it or steam it, do that. Because when it comes time to sew your project, it is so demotivating to get ready to sew something and realize you haven't pre-treated your fabric. So I have a lot of fabric here, and I have pre-treated all of it because when I get ready to sew, I want to sew. I don't want to have to pre-treat fabric. Okay, so Maria says Nancy has a book on Amazon called Confident Sewing Collection. It has all three: sewing with confidence, serge with confidence, and pattern fitting with confidence. I love that. So that's a great resource for fitting. Let's see. How different is your beginner class from the beginner YouTube videos that you've already posted? Very different because I go through all of the basic tools and techniques to give you the foundation of learning how to sew before we get into sewing the garment. So you learn everything that you need to do before cutting into the fabric, what you need to do to prepare that fabric. You learn all of the different seams that you need when you're sewing a basic garment. Then with pressing, I teach you the different pressing techniques, how to interface and all of that. And then with finishing, I teach you all of the different finishing techniques that you need to get a clean, polished garment. So I teach you the basic foundational skills, and then we go into designing our own patterns. So we don't use commercial patterns in the course because they go out of print. And I didn't want to risk people coming into the course and not being able to find the patterns that I've used in the course. So we design our own very basic patterns, 3 of them, and we sew them together. So that's the difference between the online course and the YouTube course. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go to the next question. Where are we? Let's see. Got that one. Got that one. Oh, okay, so that's where we were. Okay, so number 2, read your pattern instructions thoroughly. Make sure you read your pattern instructions from beginning to end so that you can determine what skills you're going to need to sew that garment. Okay, so where was that question? I lost it. I took it down. But make sure that you are knowing what's involved with that pattern. And then when you choose a pattern that you're going to sew, again, I suggest going to patternreview.com to see what other people are saying about the pattern before you get into something that's too involved for you. Okay, number 3, these are time-saving tips for your projects from beginning to end. Number 3, set up your machine. Set up your machine in advance. Get all of your bobbins wound, get your machine threaded, thread your bobbin, and make sure you choose all of your stitches and do a test stitch to make sure that you have the proper stitch for the type of fabric that you're going to use. The worst thing you can do is start sewing on your garment and determine that you have the wrong stitch, and then you've got to unpick stitches. So make sure that you are setting your stuff up. Gather all of your supplies, get everything you need in the area where you need it so that when you start sewing, you're not having to get up and look around for this and that. Make sure you have everything that you need before you start your project. Next, do your prep work in advance. I like to do my interfacing. I will press all of my interfacing onto the different pieces that need it. I like to press, if I use invisible zippers a lot, so I like to press those flat and make sure they're ready when I get ready to install the zipper, and then finish off the edges that need to be finished in advance. So if you're using a serger, finish off the raw edges that need to be serged, or if you're pressing over, then go ahead and do that in advance before you start sewing your pieces together. And then group like tasks. So what I like to do is when I'm sewing the pieces together, I will sew as many as I can together in the single stitch, but before sewing, actually, I sew everything together in a single stitch, as many pieces as I can, and then I will take them and press them before I go and sew the pieces together crosswise against that stitch, if that makes sense. So group as many like tasks together as possible. And then take your time, okay? That may sound like, hey, that's a contradiction. No, it isn't. Because if you're rushing through a project, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's gonna add to the time. So just take your time and just allow it to be relaxing, okay? And then finally, don't sew while you're tired, because you are more prone to make mistakes, and that's going to add to the time of sewing that garment. So those are my tips for time saving when you're sewing a project from beginning to end, and I hope that helped. Okay, Amy, yes, girl, you guys check Amy out. She's a beast in the comments. Any live I've been on with her, she goes in and types everything that the host is saying. So she will keep you updated in the chat. Thank you, Amy. Okay, coming up next, let's see. Okay, we've already done that one. I'm so behind. Okay, now here we go. Next. How do you, and after this one, we're going to do a giveaway. How do you use the pick a knit or stretch guide on a pattern? Okay, so I did show that in a video where I made, it was a recent video where I made a garment. Oh, when I made the maxi dress by, I think it was Simplicity, but it was mixed in with that video. But I did create a quick little video for you. Let me find it. Here you go. So this is the pick a knit rule at the very top. You see that rectangular box there? So what you're going to do is use this to determine if your fabric has enough stretch. So I will take the fabric and I'm going to fold it in half. And then you're going to make sure it's folded across on the crosswise, not along the selvage there, but crosswise. And then I'm going to work away from the selvage, and I'm going to measure from the left side of the great rectangle to the right side. And that's going to be the measurement, working away from the selvage. I'm going to measure that out without stretching the fabric, okay? And then you're going to stretch to the end of the white rectangle. And if it stretches easily, then the fabric that you've chosen has enough stretch for the garment you're going to make. If you have to struggle to stretch it to the end, then you don't want to use that fabric because it doesn't have enough stretch. And another thing is when you stretch the fabric and release it and it goes back to its original position, then that has great recovery and it's a great fabric based on the garment you're going to make. If you stretch it and it goes back halfway or not, it doesn't go back, then you want to reconsider based on the type of fabric that or garment you're making. If you're making pants and it doesn't have great recovery, oh my gosh, it's going to look horrible. It's going to look horrible because when you sit down and then you stand back up, you're going to have baggy knees, baggy feet, and it's just not going to look good. So I hope that helps. All right, let's see. Next, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. Okay, our next sponsor is LA Finch Fabrics. Oh my gosh. I love LA Finch Fabrics. Josie is the founder of LA Finch Fabrics, and she is such a lovely lady. And I know a lot of you guys like LA Finch Fabrics too. Baggy knees, yes. You don't want baggy knees. They look horrible, Shelly. They look horrible. Okay. Oh, here's a great one. Where did it go? It's a good idea to serge your fabric before washing. Absolutely. I love that and I do that. Thank you for sharing that, Angela. So LA Finch Fabrics, they have amazing fabrics to choose from. And LA Finch has given us $50 towards shopping in their store, and we have a winner. But first I want to show you some of their fabric, starting with, let's see, this beautiful black, let's see, where is it? I'm trying to find the card. Okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. Yes, so Josie sent me some fabrics to show you guys. So this is a beautiful rayon challis, and I absolutely love it. It feels good. I've already pre-treated it. It has wonderful drape, and I want to show you some of the things that you can do with it. Here is a sample from Cashmerette, their Lenox shirt dress. I think it would look amazing with this fabric. So that's one option. And then another option is this True Bias Roscoe dress. And they also have the Roscoe blouse. I think this would look amazing with that dress. Let's see, I think that's it. Yeah, so this is one that they've sent me. Here's another rayon challis, this beautiful green floral. I just love it. I love rayon challis because it has such amazing drape, but this is beautiful. And I want to give you an idea of some of the things you can do with it. Here is the Vernon shirt. This is a new pattern with Cashmerette. Can you imagine that with that beautiful shirt? I love it. And then another one is the True Bias Calvin dress. I think it would look great with this fabric. And it has just the right amount of drape for that dress. So that's another one. And then finally, she sent me this 100% linen in coral, and I love it. It's a lightweight, so I've already washed it, and it does have a little drape, but yeah, this is beautiful. I love the color. Look, that's gonna look so good on me. But here are some options of things you can sew with it. The Rose Claire dress by Cashmerette. Can you see that? I think it's beautiful. Okay, and then another option is the Rory jumpsuit by True Bias. Oh, I think that would look so good in this linen. So yes, so I'm going to call out our winner for LA Finch Fabrics. Let me find her. All right, let's get some music going. Where's our party music? Congratulations, Henrietta. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I'll be reaching out to you via the email that you used to join the private email community and connecting you with LA Finch Fabrics. Thank you so much for being part of my community. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's go and answer a few more questions. We have a few more, you guys. It is 1:43. We've got to really close this down. Okay, so our next question, go down. We have 4 more. Okay. When and where did you learn to sew? How did you get your start in fashion? I learned to sew in the early 90s, and like I said, a friend of mine was sewing her clothes. I was inspired. I found an instructor in LA who taught me the very basics, and then I started buying all the books I needed to learn how to improve on my craft. So that's how I started. That was my start, and I loved it. That's how I got my start. Okay, next question. Anita, hi Anita, what is the secret to starting a sewing project and finish it? I try many times and don't finish it. My greatest encouragement to you is to avoid the distractions. I think a lot of times we we get distracted because we're seeing what other people, I don't know if this is your truth, but I think sometimes for some of us, we see what other people are doing and then we get distracted and we want to do what they're doing and we stop doing what we're doing. I just say avoid the distractions and make sure you are sewing something that makes you happy, that makes you, get excited. When I choose patterns and fabric and put them together, I get really excited about it. So if you can create that excitement for yourself when you're sewing a garment, I think that's a great way to stay motivated and finish it to the end. So remove the distractions and make sure that you're sewing something that you absolutely love. If you're sewing something that is like, then the motivation is not going to be there. So that's my advice. I hope that helps. All right, let's see. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. You guys, Amy's in the chat giving the recap. Thank you, sis. I love it. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the next question. We're almost there, you guys. We're coming up on the finish line. Okay, we just did that one. Would you consider addressing the issue of body size insecurities? And I really wanted to answer this. The difference between ready to wear and sewing pattern sizing is phenomenal. The current sizing system is ancient. Do you see a change coming for this issue? I am speaking for myself and I think for many others. I hate the tape measure, especially for the waistline. Thank you. Oh, when I read this, it kind of touched my heart because as a sewing instructor, I hear the frustrations with a lot of beginners who, now I'm just making an assumption that the person who asked this, that you are plus size or curvy, but I hear the frustrations from my sisters who can't find patterns to fit their bodies, and they struggle with the same thing that you're struggling with. So the thing that I thought about when I read this was, you guys, I haven't taken a sip of tea throughout this entire tea party, and my tea is cold now. Let me take a sip. Lord, it's cold, but that's okay. Yes, I needed to wet my whistle. So, I think that we take on what society tells us is reality. And I think that a lot of times we form these mindsets about ourselves based on what society is saying. And I think when it comes to, body size and all of that, I think that we need to make sure that we are finding a way to just be confident and comfortable with who we are, where we are, in our present time. Whether you are seeking to lose weight, if that is your goal, okay, that's fine. But I think it's healthy for us to be okay with ourselves where we are and not allow society to place these definitions on us and these limiting mindsets and beliefs on us about our size and whatever it is that we're struggling with as far as our body image. So I just want to encourage you to be okay with where you are. And I also want to encourage you to get connected and get in communities with other soul sisters who are similar to you, who have the same type body size or structure as you. And I do want to recommend Jenny Rushmore's book, From Cashmerette. She has this book, Ahead of the Curve. And when I tell you this is gold, it is golden. She has so many different tips about altering your patterns to fit your body. And she also, in the front of her book, gives encouragement. And I want to read something to you that I think could be helpful. It's a few tips that she gives about body size. Oh Lord, let me find it. I should have bookmarked it. But she gives some great encouragement. Here it is. No, that's not it. She gives great encouragement to our sisters about body size. Here it is. I need to put my glasses on to read this if I can find them. And I can't, so I'll just read it. Okay. Sew Body Confident is the title. And it says, although learning to sew and fit has enormous potential to help you feel good about your body, it's not always an easy journey. Okay, this is coming from someone who is a plus size soul sister. I want to help you feel at the very least neutral about your body when you're sewing, and hopefully even positive. Here are some tips that I use personally to help. Number one, look to curvy fashion and sewing for your inspiration. So that's what I was saying early. Look for people who look like you to inspire you. Next, don't wait until your body changes. Sew that gorgeous fabric now. Oh, I so agree with her. Be okay with sewing for your body the way it is right now. And then sew garments that allow for body fluctuations. I think that's a great tip because we're always changing. So if you're sewing things that you can fit, for fluctuation, she said it perfectly. So reframe your language. And I want to read a little bit about that. Remember, if something doesn't fit, your body is not the problem. The clothes are. I love that. Your legs aren't too short. The trouser legs are too long. Your boobs aren't too low. The bust apex needs to be lowered. You will be amazed at how much reframing your perspective can help make you feel kinder and more generous towards your body and yourself. I recommend getting this book for the inspiration and for the tips and techniques that Jenny gives you. It's amazing. So I hope that helps you, sister. I hope it helps you. And I'm sure that our sisters are giving you some encouragement down in the comments because we are a supportive community here. So thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Okay, next question. Anita, will you be having a seminar in Illinois for people who are trying to start their own business? No, I don't teach people how to start their own businesses. I just teach people how to sew, but I'm so glad you asked about that because it's the perfect day to ask. My coach, Patrice Washington, is hosting a challenge because she's getting ready to open her new program called Purpose to Platform. And she is the one who taught me last year how to do this thing, how to bring my business to market. And when I tell you this lady is incredible, she brings the goods and she brings the fire. Amy, if you're still here, will you please put the link in the chat so that my sister who asked this question can go and check out Patrice. But she's starting a challenge tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern to have people come in and hear about what she's doing and to start this challenge. But if Amy is here, she'll put that link down there. And I encourage you to go check out Patrice Washington. She's patricewashington.com. You can find everything about her on her website. She has a podcast called Redefining Wealth where she is just so encouraging. I just want you to go and meet her. Patrice Washington at Redefining Wealth. Okay, now let's go to, I think we have two more. Okay, yep, we have two more questions and then we're gonna give away the rest of our goodies. Anita, I can sew, but two things are hard for me. I'm not good at putting in a blind hem unless I sew it on my hands. I would like to learn how to do it on a machine, or do I need to get a blind hem machine? Also, I'm not good at doing a blind zipper. Any advice? Okay, where is my... Okay, for a blind hem, all you need is a blind hem or foot if your machine takes that. You don't need a special machine. You just need a blind hammer foot, and go through your manual, learn how to use it if your machine comes with one. If your machine doesn't come with one, then I suggest going to your machine, the company where you purchase your machine, to find out if they carry one. If not, there are companies out here who sell sewing machine feet, like what's the name of the company? They have they have the huge foot set. Oh my gosh, I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't remember, but there is a company who has a sewing machine foot set, and I think it's like 48 pieces or something. If you guys know what I'm talking about, my soul sisters, will you please type that down in the chat for our sister so that she can know where she can go to get the set of sewing machine feet for your machine. Madam Sew, that's who it is. Madam Sew, you can check them out, and they have a kit that has, oh my gosh, so many amazing feet. So check them out. Thank you guys for that. Okay, next up, our last question is, well, I wanted to put this one up there. It's not sewing related. She said, well, not exactly sewing, but how do you stay in such great shape? Do you work out every day? I work out, not every day, but I do work out at the gym. It makes me feel good and it gets my day started. It helps me to get started on a good in a good mindset. I just need it. I crave it, and it makes me feel good. So yes, I do work out probably 3, sometimes 4 times a week. So that's it. All right, we're gonna give away the rest of our goodies, and I want to introduce you to our next sponsor. And that would be Bianca from Thanks I Made Them. Yes, I love this lady so much. She is so supportive, and she has been such an encouragement in my life, especially when I went through a very difficult time. She was there for me. And so I wanted to introduce you to her. She has an Etsy store called Thanks I Made Them, and she makes these amazing pattern weights. She has designer pattern weights, and she also has custom pattern weights where you can send in a picture or whatever, and she will make pattern weights for you, and they are good quality pattern weights. So I wanted to show you some that I have. I have the scripture weights, and I bought a lot. I think I bought like 3 sets of scripture weights, but you can see they have scriptures written on them, and then that's how thick they are, and they have a really nice weight. So I love these. And Bianca also made a few special weights for me. She customized some for me with my family. She did one here with my family, with my husband, and then she did one here with my 4 steps: stand, trust, endure, and proceed. She did one with my saying, when I used to say, or still say, if you live in your design, it is from there that God shines. And then she did one of my husband, which is very special to me. And after I wrote my book, she sent me a special one with the title and the cover of my book. So Bianca is giving away a free set of pattern weights to one lucky winner. And we have a winner, so let's go and pull up her name. Okay. Are you ready? Let's get some music. Congratulations, Donna. I'm so excited for you. I will be contacting you to get you in touch with Bianca. Thank you for being part of my sewing community. All right, we have another winner, or let's go to another sponsor and see what we're giving away. And that's me. I'm giving away one of my t-shirts, Give Me Jesus and a Sewing Machine, and a mug, Give Me Jesus and a Sewing Machine. Or you can choose another design. Maybe you don't want that one. There are other designs, but I am giving you a short sleeve t-shirt and a mug of your choice. So let's see who our winner is for this one. Let's see who we've got. Let me close the other one. Congratulations, Sharon. I'm so excited. I'll be in touch with you to get your goodies to you, all right? Now we have another giveaway, and it's also from yours truly. I'm going to be giving away, let me pull it up. I'm going to be giving away a step package. This is a signed copy of my book, Step Into It, Overcoming Trials That Lead to Purpose, and a t-shirt and matching mug that has the 4 steps that I teach in my book for overcoming the trials of life: stand, trust, endure, and proceed. So let's find a winner. Let's find a winner. Congratulations, Robin. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I'll be contacting you to get your goodies to you. Okay, now I said that I would send a signed copy, and I am. So Robin, this is your book. And I've already written a little note in there for you, so I'm going to sign it right now. This is for Robin. Robin. All right, Robin, your book has been signed. I don't know if you can see that, but your book has been signed, and I'll be getting it off to you. I have decided I'm going to give away 3 more books, so I'm going to pull up 3 more names right now. So let's get us some music going so we can get this. Congratulations, you guys. I will be reaching out to you to get your books to you. You guys, thank you so much. This has been a joy. I did not expect this thing to go 2 hours, like 2 whole hours. I'm going to make it shorter next time, I promise. Also, next time it's going to be on a Saturday. I had planned to do this on Saturday, but something came up and I had to go to a funeral service, so I had to change the date. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you are not already following me in social media, you can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. I'm at Anita by Design. You can get subscribed here on my YouTube channel so that you can see all of the goodies that I have coming up. I have more tutorials, more sewing tips. So thank you guys. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting my first Tea Time Live with Anita. And next time, I'm gonna drink my tea while it's hot. I think I was so excited. And I think next time we're gonna have fewer questions, I think. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And yes, I love you.